Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today we're going deep down the rabbit hole, man. We're talking about Sigma males. You know the type, right? They're like the lone wolves of the social jungle, marching to the beat of their own drum. Now, a lot of people misunderstand Sigma males. They see them as aloof, maybe even a little bit strange. But I'm telling you, there's more to these guys than meets the eye. They've got this quiet confidence, this independent spirit that most people just don't get, and that's what we're going to unpack today. We're going to figure out what makes these guys tick, why they do what they do. So buckle up, folks, because this is going to be a wild ride. We're about to explore the fascinating world of the Sigma male. All right, so let's break this down. You've probably heard of alpha males, right? The leaders of the pack, always in charge, calling the shots. And then there's the beta males, more laid back, happy to follow the leader. Well, Sigma males, they don't fit neatly into either of those categories. They're not about dominating others, and they're not really followers either. They're on a whole other wavelength, man. They're independent, self-sufficient. They don't need anyone's approval. It's like they're playing a different game entirely, and they're winning on their own terms. You know, when you think about it, the Sigma male is kind of like that lone wolf archetype. They're comfortable being alone. They don't need a pack to validate them. But here's the thing. It's not that they don't like people. They're just very selective about who they let into their circle. They'd rather have a few deep, meaningful connections than a bunch of superficial ones. And that's what makes them so intriguing. They're a mystery, man. They operate outside the traditional social hierarchy, and that can be really intimidating to some people. You see, in a lot of ways, Sigma males are rebels. They reject the traditional social hierarchy, the whole alpha-beta dynamic. They don't feel the need to prove themselves to anyone, and they're not interested in playing by society's rules. They make their own rules, they forge their own path. And that's what I find so fascinating about them. They're not afraid to be different, to stand out from the crowd. They're comfortable in their own skin, and they don't need anyone's approval. So what are some of the telltale signs of a Sigma male? Well, one of the biggest ones is their quiet confidence. They don't need to brag or show off. They just carry themselves with this air of self-assurance. They know their worth, and they don't need external validation to reinforce it. It's like they've got this inner strength, this quiet intensity that you can just sense. They're comfortable in their own skin, and that makes them incredibly magnetic. Another thing about Sigma males is that they're independent thinkers. They don't just follow the crowd, they question everything. They're not afraid to challenge the status quo, to go against the grain. They form their own opinions, and they're not afraid to voice them, even if it means going against the popular opinion. And that's what I really respect about them. They're not afraid to be different. They're not afraid to stand up for what they believe in, even if it means standing alone. Sigma males are also incredibly self-reliant. They've got this drive to be the best versions of themselves, and they're not afraid to put in the work to get there. Whether it's mastering a skill, pursuing a passion, or just becoming more self-sufficient, they're all about personal growth. They're constantly learning, evolving, pushing themselves to be better. And that's contagious, man. When you're around someone who's that driven, that passionate about life, it makes you want to step up your own game. It's inspiring. So, we've talked about Sigma males, right? These dudes are often misunderstood. People see them doing their own thing, marching to the beat of their own drum, and they label them as lone wolves. And yeah, Sigmas are independent. They definitely value their freedom. They aren't afraid to walk alone. But that whole lone wolf thing, it's not always accurate, man. It's like assuming a comedian is always on, cracking jokes 24/7. Just because you see them on stage, killing it solo, doesn't mean they don't enjoy hanging out with their crew off stage, you know? Sigmas are the same way. They can be solitary when they need to be, but they're not antisocial. They're selective. They choose their pack carefully. They'd rather have a few deep, meaningful connections than 1,000 shallow ones. It's like, why chase followers when you can have a tribe, right? And let me tell you, when a Sigma lets you into their circle, you become part of something special. They're loyal as hell, and they'll have your back no matter what. They're not afraid to call you out when you're full of it either, which is something I really respect. Another thing people get wrong about Sigmas is they mistake their quiet confidence for aloofness. They see a dude who's comfortable in his own skin, who doesn't need external validation, and they think he's arrogant or standoffish. But here's the thing, Sigmas aren't trying to impress anyone. They're not out there peacocking or trying to be the center of attention. They're just comfortable being themselves, which can be intimidating to some people, especially in a world where everyone's trying so hard to fit in. It's like that quote from Mark Twain, "Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect." Sigmas get that. They're not afraid to be the odd man out to challenge the status quo. They think for themselves, and they don't blindly follow the crowd. And honestly, that's refreshing, isn't it? In a world full of yes-men, it's good to have someone around who's willing to speak their mind, even if it goes against the grain. Sigmas have this quiet intensity about them that can be misconstrued. They're not loud or boisterous, but you can feel their presence in a room. They're observant, they listen more than they talk, and when they do speak, they choose their words carefully. It's like they're sizing you up, trying to figure you out. And honestly, they probably are. They're deep thinkers, and they're constantly analyzing the world around them. They want to understand the why behind everything. This intensity can be intimidating to some, but it's also what makes them so magnetic. They have this aura of mystery about them, like they're holding something back, and that can be incredibly alluring. It's like encountering a wild animal in the forest. You know it could tear you apart, but you can't help but be drawn to its power and unpredictability. That's the Sigma male.
Check one, check.
All right, so we've talked about the traits of a Sigma male, but who are some examples of these dudes in the real world? Let's start with Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street himself. This guy was a total maverick, operating outside the system, building his own empire. He didn't care about climbing the corporate ladder. He created his own ladder, man. And sure, he went a little crazy with the whole stockbroker thing, but you got to admire his hustle and his complete disregard for the rules. That's some Sigma energy right there. Belfort was all about independence, about forging his own path. He wasn't afraid to take risks, even if it meant going against the grain. And that's what makes him such a fascinating example of a Sigma male. He wasn't afraid to be different, to embrace his individuality. He was out there doing his own thing, living his life on his own terms. And look, I'm not saying you should go out and start your own penny stock firm or anything, but there's a lesson to be learned from Belfort's ambition and his unwavering self-belief. He knew what he wanted, and he went after it full force. That kind of drive and determination, that's something we can all learn from, Sigma or not. Now, let's talk about Keanu Reeves. This guy is like the ultimate Sigma male, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. He's incredibly successful, talented as hell, but he's also notoriously private and introspective. He doesn't crave the limelight, doesn't need validation from anyone. He's just out there doing his own thing, whether it's making movies, riding motorcycles, or quietly donating millions to charity. Keanu's whole vibe is just different, man. He's comfortable in his own skin, doesn't feel the need to conform to any expectations. He's not trying to be the life of the party, but he's got this magnetic aura about him. People are drawn to his authenticity, his quiet confidence. He's a reminder that you don't need to be loud and boisterous to be a powerful presence. And the stories about his generosity, his kindness, they're legendary. He's like this silent guardian, a real-life superhero. He's living proof that you can be successful and still be a good dude, that you don't have to be a jerk to get ahead. He's a true inspiration, man. All right, this one might be a bit controversial, but you can't talk about Sigma males without mentioning Vladimir Putin. Love him or hate him, the man is a force to be reckoned with. He's got that quiet intensity, that aura of power and control that screams Sigma. He's calculated, strategic, and doesn't back down from a challenge. Whether you agree with his politics or not, you got to admit he's a fascinating figure. Putin's like a chess master, always thinking several moves ahead. He's not impulsive, he's deliberate and calculated in his actions, and he's not afraid to project strength to assert his dominance on the world stage. He's a reminder that Sigma males aren't always the nicest guys in the room, but they're often the most powerful. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and invade a neighboring country or anything, but there's something to be said for Putin's unwavering self-belief, his ability to command a room. He's a reminder that Sigma males aren't afraid to take what they want, to pursue their goals with relentless determination. So, you've identified a Sigma male in your life and you're wondering how to interact with this enigmatic creature. Well, the first rule is simple. Respect the boundaries. Sigma males value their independence, their space to breathe. They're not going to be clingy or needy, and they appreciate the same in return. Don't be offended if they don't always want to hang out in a big group or if they need some time alone to recharge. It's not personal, man. They're just wired differently. Think of it like this. They're like wolves. Wolves are pack animals, but they also need their solo time to hunt and explore. Respecting their boundaries also means respecting their opinions and choices. Sigma males are often strong-willed and independent thinkers. They're not afraid to go against the grain or challenge the status quo. So if they have a different perspective on something, don't just dismiss it. Engage with them, have a conversation. You might be surprised by what you learn. Sigma males can spot a fake a mile away. They're drawn to authenticity, to people who are comfortable in their own skin. So when you're interacting with them, just be yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not, or put on a show to impress them. They'll see right through it. Be genuine, be real, and let your personality shine through. That's what's going to make you interesting and engaging to a Sigma male. They're not looking for followers or yes men. They want people who are confident in their own right, who bring something unique to the table. Remember, Sigma males value depth and substance. They're not interested in superficial small talk or gossip. They want to have real conversations, to delve into meaningful topics. So don't be afraid to share your thoughts and ideas, even if they're a little unconventional. Like anyone else, Sigma males are drawn to people who share their interests and passions. So if you want to connect with them on a deeper level, find some common ground. What are they passionate about? What gets them fired up? It could be anything from philosophy and history to martial arts and motorcycles. Once you've found some common ground, engage with them on those topics. Ask questions, share your own experiences, and let the conversation flow naturally. You'll be surprised at how quickly you can bond with someone when you're both genuinely interested in the same things. And don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Sigma males are often drawn to new experiences and challenges, so if they invite you to try something new, go for it. You might just discover a new passion or learn something new about yourself. So, there you have it. The Sigma male, a complex, often misunderstood figure who marches to the beat of his own drum. They're not always the easiest people to figure out, but once you understand what makes them tick, you'll find they can be incredibly loyal friends, passionate partners, and inspiring mentors. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. And as always, thanks for watching.